Welcome, everybody, to episode 9 of the Mid-Geek Crisis. My name is Joe, as always.
Pedro, cautious.
Hopefully you waded through the thickness that was the last episode of 1 hour and 30 minutes, which was 30 minutes of me doing really silly rants about the PlayStation Classic. I promise I will not talk about the PlayStation Classic at all today.
No one's going to talk about it. Don't you dare. First up, I want to thank once more time Heretofore, in case you missed it last time, for our opening sequence. Every time I listen to it, I've said it before, I love it more and more.
It makes it sound legit. I don't get it, but
yeah, it makes it sound like we've got some sweet music. Actually, it might be the best part of our show. The first
right. We could just loop the first 30 seconds of the show over and over again, and then you begin to go.
So thank you to their professiontional sound. Look
Absolutely.
them up online. Here2, as in TO4 FORE. Online.
We're going to start off. We're going to run through this because we're going to try to hit that 1 hour mark, that sweet 1 hour mark this week. And we're going to start it off with the big story of last week. It happened right after we put up the episode on Wednesday, which was, and if you watched, I streamed for a total of 3 hours watching the Game Awards, the ever popular Game Awards. Now, if you're unfamiliar with them or have no idea what I'm talking about, the Game Awards are a fantastic award show that started about 5 years ago. So this was year 5. And if you were to watch what it was on year 1 versus what it is now, you will definitely notice a level of quality has moved up.
It had a lot of glamour, a lot of shine on it.
Right. The first year that it was a thing, definitely pandered a bit. It was a little brought to you by Doritos and Mountain Dew kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they realized that no one liked that. And then the second year came around and they really brought in the big guns. They brought in Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft, and they made them, hey, let's make this a year at the end of the year kind of thing. Let's announce some things. Let's do some. And so it kind of became an important stage, kind of like E3 now. So it's almost interesting that when we watch these award shows, new things will be announced. So we had plenty all night world premieres and announcements for lots.
Yeah, and I was. It's the first time I've watched it live, right? So normally I tend to just read about it or catch up on it later. I was pleasantly surprised at how many indie games were sort of highlighted, shown, talked about. Developers were to talk up their indie games, assuming they were from Canada.
But lots of Montreal, lots of France.
Montreal, a lot of France folks there. God bless them all. But I was thrilled to see all the trailers and announcements for indie games out there, and it wasn't a bad show. I think it was a pretty good show overall. I was live tweeting it while listening to Joe on YouTube. So.
Yeah. Next time we're going to do something like that, we'll make sure we have both of us at the same time. I kind of got that just set up. I'm getting it's again. We're 10 weeks into this, but it still feels new because we only get a couple nights to actually sit down and work on it. Day jobs and all that. We'll get there. It's an ever-growing process. But let's talk about some of these winners here. The winners were actually phenomenal, and we're going to talk about one in particular, Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption took plenty of awards.
Real strong and
wow, they won
awards.
Yeah, they won best narrative. They won best score. They won best audio design. They won best
voice actor.
Best performance. Roger Clark as Arthur Morgan. They just won and won and won, and it was interesting. But also, what was fantastic was we had one perfect example, like you were talking about indie games, is Best Action Game was won by Dead Cells.
Yeah.
And Dead Cells is a fantastic independent game. It's available on all consoles, PC, PS4, Xbox, Switch. It's on all of them. And it's a really beautiful kind of a Metroidvania style game, and it's really well done, and I highly recommend it. So pick that up. But again, it won, and it was competing against Black Ops 4. Destiny 2, Far Cry 5, Mega Man.
So big games.
Those are big games. I mean, to win against any of those is already a win in my book. So more power to them. Again, a couple of other games as well won that were really best fighting game. I mean, here you had Bandai Namco, which went up against like big guns like Capcom and Bandai Namco. Bandai Namco, this division was the Dragon Ball game. Like we're talking about a franchised game.
Yeah,
it was made so well that it beat out all the other fighting games. So that's great.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? So the Game Awards kind of blends, I guess, gamer votes and industry experts, if you want to say.
Right. So it's
a blend of like the MTV Awards and the Oscars, right? So you've got industry experts and insiders who also vote, and also so they blend them and they kind of allay the awards out there. So the scoring system, it's not as transparent as I would like.
Right, but I think
it allows for some of the cream to rise.
It does.
It doesn't become a Twitter war as to who's going to win these awards.
Right, and Jeff Keighley, the host and creator of these awards, I mean, he talked about it right at the very beginning. He says every year he gets asked, why don't we just make it a voting thing? And you and I both know that voting just means internet, and internet means, sadly, websites like, things like 4chan will just like destroy the, Reddit. 4chan will just skew everything. Everything will just be like, the worst game ever just for the lulz.
Just for the lulz. And gamers love to game, so they will give the awards. That's pretty much
the awards. Absolutely.
The awards. So I totally get it. It was a great show. I mean, spoilers if you didn't catch up, right? God of War took home the Game of the Year.
God of War, and which was, again, not a surprise. It definitely was one of the bigger ones. But if you look at the winners all night, God of War didn't win as many as you thought.
They got 2 awards, right? I forgot the other one. They definitely pulled 2.
Yeah. They did, absolutely.
In categories where they were up against Red Dead Redemption, which was kind of
right. Well, when you talk about AAA titles, God of War is definitely one of them. But to compete against a game like Red Dead Redemption, where it's on all consoles, so it's at least the 2 big ones, right? And the Sony, and then God of War, which is Sony exclusivity. Single system.
Big win for Sony.
Huge win for Sony. Yeah. So when you really think about it, God of War, while it is a AAA title, it is kind of an independent in some way. It's it's self-published, Santa Monica.
I'm jealous of it. It's one of those exclusive titles on the PlayStation that makes me want to pick up a PlayStation, right? That, Last of Us, games like that I'm like, I'll never get to enjoy these if I don't.
Yeah, so Sony's really good at that. They've lately, I mean, they've got Spider-Man. Spider-Man was nominated, but I don't think won any.
No, actually, it didn't win any.
It didn't win any, which is kind of an upset, I think, because Spider-Man came out of nowhere and really
had like an established audience. It's funny how we were talking about this. Red Dead Redemption came in like a week before the awards and just came and stole them all like a bandit. Just came
right, and that's also something that I kind of have trouble with. Yeah, I have trouble with it, but I don't know if there should be a cutoff in some way, shape, or form. Kind of like the Oscars. Like the Oscars have a cutoff.
But the cutoff is like a couple weeks before, isn't it?
It's like right around the holidays, like right before the holidays.
Like right about now is when they do
and then after that, and then the nominees come out like in February, and then March, I think, give or take, is when it happens. So
you got to squeeze it in somehow,
I guess.
Especially with games. One of the things that I find weird about the Game Awards, this is like a quadrillion, bajillion dollar industry with tons of people working in it, famous folks. For us, I don't know anyone who isn't familiar with video games, right?
Right.
I didn't see any articles about it in the Times, right? Like the Oscars, in the newspapers are like the Oscars are big when they come out. Like you're forced to endure news stories about it, morning shows about it. Just like all they do is talk about the Oscars and the Golden Globes and all these awards for all these movies. I was sort of sad. Like I mean. It wasn't anywhere. It wasn't.
It wasn't anywhere that us gamers weren't already looking.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like I intentionally did searches on some of the websites I go to, and it was either buried deep, or just not even covered at all, or sort of side story, maybe an opinion piece about it. And it's weird, right? Because like Red Dead Redemption, in a week made more money than the best grossing Marvel film, right? Like when we talk about entertainment and levels of entertainment and eyeballs on screens, like video games just dominate any other entertainment industry. Yet this award show, which it's definitely catering to the gamer audience. It's not for the mom and pop of who don't really know much video game stuff. Just doesn't even get covered. Like, it didn't, not even a mention that, like, oh, congratulations to Game of the Year winner, got an award by this studio based out of this city. Like, no, not even. It's weird to me. It's just weird. I'm so enmeshed in gamer culture that it was weird to me that it didn't break out of that shell in any way.
Yeah, and again, that's always going to be a bit of contention in my feelings towards it all. Yeah. Like, we're part of this ginormous culture, right? We've got we're forced in a way to know that being geek is chic right now. We've got popular shows, as much as I am not a fan.
Sell us stuff. Everybody's just selling stuff because we're geeks. They love us because we
spend money, right? So we've got TV shows catered to us, movies catered to us. I mean, the Marvel, they're all like, they're catered to the gamer and the geek and all of that. But gaming is such a big industry, like you state, but at the same time, it's almost like taboo.
It's still like not covered. Like,
it feels like even the most highly professional, from doctors to lawyers to cops to firefighters to you name it, you talk to them and they're like, oh yeah, I play video games, or yeah, I picked up the newest Call of Duty, or I picked up Call of Duty, or I picked up I play Fortnite. I mean, again, Fortnite is everywhere.
Oh yeah,
everywhere, and it's ridiculous how deep it is.
I mean, the Times had articles about Fortnite, but not about the Game Awards, right? But really, It was about, like, your kids are playing Fortnite. Here's a guy. It was like a very NPR-esque article where it's all like, oh, kids are playing Fortnite. Let's give you a primer on what that is, you clueless parents. I'm like, wait, I'm a parent. I know what Fortnite is. Are you kidding?
This game is huge, and I know we say it every episode. We kind of like, it's almost like in the writer for us to mention Fortnite, but.
Epic Games.
If you haven't seen Wreck-It Ralph 2, I don't think, right?
No.
Okay, so I'm not going to
right? Like yesterday, Wednesday?
November 14th.
Oh, all right. Yeah,
so a month ago, almost. Yeah. So anywho, take your kid and go see Wreck-It Ralph 2. We mentioned a couple weeks back that Wreck-It Ralph was in Fortnite. Mm-hmm. Fortnite is in Wreck-It Ralph.
That's crazy.
Right. So, it doesn't surprise me, but at the same time, it blew my mind. And I'll mention this for this reason. Think about a Disney movie. Any Disney movie, they're timeless. You're going to watch them forever.
Yeah.
We watch Lion King. We watch Rescuers Down Under. We watch, as old as they are, Snow White, 1930s, 1940s. That's how old Snow White is.
Sure, yeah.
They're classics. Wreck-It Ralph is part of that. Is part of that pedigree now. They are one of those movies, and there are scenes with the bus, the drop bus from the battle bus from Fortnite in Wreck-It Ralph. It's just like, at that moment I'm like, is anyone noticing this? Like, here's this like game that like came out of nowhere and it is permanently, like, the game could go away tomorrow, but it'll always live. It'll be timelessly enshrined in a Disney movie.
And that makes sense. Like, it's timelessly enshrined in our show, and our kids will never forget the summer of Fortnite in 2018, right?
So really,
it's there. I don't think it took a few awards, maybe best multiplayer.
It did win. It did win best. It won best multiplayer game. Yes,
best multiplayer.
And it was competing against Black Ops 4, Destiny 2, Monster Hunter World, and Sea of Thieves.
Oh, that's right. So yeah, it wasn't kind of a weak category, I guess.
Yeah, it didn't win like best shooter. I don't think. I guess what won that? Let me take a look here. Best.
Is there a best shooter category?
Yeah. They're definitely.
That was under action.
I guess. I guess it is action. It's.
I don't know. I know there was like a lot more esports this year, which was interesting to me because. I joked around on the Twitter that it never makes me feel as old as I am as watching esporters like win things, right? It always seems to me like I don't know anything about this sport.
Right, and which is funny to us because we're so into gaming, but that level,
competitive gaming, that level is well beyond where I'm at.
Right, it's almost too new. It's too bleeding edge. It's like it would be like us being the guys that are car enthusiasts, and we're into like the carburetors and the tuning. But then like you got these new guys that are all like into their Teslas and stuff. Like it's so new.
It's not that. It's super new. It's not, right? People have been competing for video games since arcade games 10,000 years ago. But esports, especially, and the amount of money and the personalities and things around there.
Well, like they're sponsored, right? Like they got T-shirts with like logos for like brands. So it's NASCAR.
But like the kids know them, right? So what's his name? Sonic Blue Sonic.
Sonic Fox. Right. Sonic Fox.
Interesting guy. I mean, I think he stole the whole show, right? I felt his emotion when he was up there accepting that award for best esport player. I was at my local Trader Joe's up here, and the guy who was serving me recognized my Machina hat, which I was wearing. And he was like, "Oh, are you a gamer?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a gamer." And he's 20 years younger than me. And he's like, "Oh," and we started talking about the Game Awards. And he was like, "Oh, it's so cool that Sonic Fox won." Right? And I'm like, "Oh my God, that's amazing." Right? So we're talking back and forth. And, he's that kid that I'm talking to at Trader Joe's. He's a competitive fighter game player. So, of course, he knows who Sonic Fox is.
Right. But see, there it is right there. There's a perfect example. The everyday Joe, no pun intended, Trader Joe's, you walking up to them, they noticed a piece of flair on you.
The M right on my hat. He was like,
it's almost like that secret code word, like that, like one phrase, and it's like all of a sudden, boom, you're like in. You're able to talk to this separate language, and
it was awesome.
Maybe that's why things like the New York Times and stuff doesn't even cover it, because maybe their demographic is the older individual. I mean,
like it seems weird to me that they're still catering. I mean, maybe older people buy newspapers, right? Younger people don't buy newspapers, probably. But like, hey, you want to get me? But even I know. So like. I know Red Dead Redemption on the cover, I guess.
Right.
Like,
I'm 30. I'm going to be 37, and I know, at least in my mind, I know that the New York Times is a legit business. Like it's a legit source of news. Like this isn't like the National Enquirer or the New York Post.
Yes, it is good, solid, fact-based news. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And like I'm 41, so of course I pay for my news, right? Like I feel like everyone 2 or 3 years younger than me and beyond that don't. They just sort of read it on other websites and
BuzzFeed.
Yeah, BuzzFeed. Or have figured out a way to go into incognito mode so they never reach their limit of free articles.
Yes.
Right? So, but I pay for it because I can afford it, and no matter what happens, I will figure out a budget for it because you have to support these news sites. But at the same time, I was a little sad that I'm like, you should really cover this. This is the Game Awards. It's been going on. It's not the first year. It's not it's not a flash in the pan thing that's going to go away because gamers do a lot of things and they lose interest. This had like well over 100,000 views. I didn't even see the final numbers. I only watched in the beginning. On Twitch, watching the pre-show, right? Like there was a lot of people on Twitch watching this. There were also, I think, 10 or 12 to 20,000 on Mixer. Folks were watching it on the YouTube. It was everywhere. It was very stratified.
Every streaming service had it. Mixer, YouTube, Twitch, all of them had it running. All of them had their own number base.
And it was trending on Twitter, right? Like it's not like this was
the number one trending thing worldwide.
So like, how could you not cover that? It's weird to me that it wasn't a thing. I mean, I guess they don't have a video game office, right? They've got everything else, but not a video game office. So I'd love. I mean, if the New York Times, if there's anybody at New York Times listening, I'd love to hear why. But really,
Forbes has a video game section.
Yeah, Times has a video game section. They just tend to cover. They tend to cover more cerebral things. Whatever, they can do how they want to do it, but. Like, if you're going to spill all that ink over the Oscars and the Golden Globes and the movie awards, when video games make way more money,
right,
and attract way more eyeballs worldwide, what is your basis for coverage, right? Yeah. I mean, what's your basis? It's got to be you think one thing's more artistic than the other. Well, let's have a big argument about that because video games can be very artistic. So let's go.
So let's do this. I mean, as someone who's considered, I don't know if we're considered new media or what are we? We're content creators, right? I mean, they gave an award out for that.
Sure, they did.
We should maybe we should on our behalf write an op piece or something or push something towards them.
Oh, and I've already written my angry letter to the Times that.
Yeah.
I should
really. I mean, you're a subscriber. You're a specific age and a demographic. I mean, you are a newer age. You are getting older in age, but yet we're from a generation where gaming is important to us.
I came of age with the Atari.
Right.
That's really what's happened with me. So I don't know. It's weird. So yeah, you're right. I mean, you're essentially telling me be the change you want to be, and I'm like, I don't That feels like a lot of work.
It does. But I mean, you already pay them, right? So
I already pay them. So I
like,
should send them a letter and be like, hey, can you get some journalists on this? Or here's my opinion piece on the Game Awards. Not that there was much to... There's some stuff to talk about. I mean, the fashion, right? You could really go after these Game Awards for a lot of...
Oh, man.
The kind of deer in the headlights look on everyone's face. The awkward attempts to both pitch their services and also not sound like they're pitching their services.
Right.
A lot of things on the Game Awards that I found to be...
So that's an interesting like side thing, right? So we talk about the Oscars and these movies. I mean, these people are actors for life. They are meant to stand in front of cameras. Even if their directors go up there, the directors have to talk to people to make their movies happen. When the Game Awards happen and they've got these developers go up on stage, I mean, these guys are just not social creatures. They're just, they are.
Some of them are. Some of them
can be. I mean, some of them are showmen. Like, by all means, I follow a lot of them on Twitter. They're showmen. I mean, look at Ed Boon, for example. Ed Boon is huge on Twitter.
Yep.
Ed Boon, I mean, if you didn't watch it, the spoiler alert on this was, I mean, there's nothing, because the next day, that was one of the trending top stories after the Game Awards was Ed Boon, one of the creators of Mortal Kombat, was asked to come on stage to
best sports game.
Best sports. It was weird. It was a best. So the category was best sports in racing.
That's right.
So I'm on stream here, and I'm going, why are they calling Ed Boon up for best sports and racing game?
Was he just back there, and they were like, hey,
they were like, let's give you an award. So he comes up, he goes, hey guys, from NetherRealm Studios, Ed Boon here. Here's the award for best sports and racing. He proceeds to open up the nominees, and as soon as he does that, the screen goes black, and we get a fantastic trailer for Mortal Kombat 11.
I know, huge franchise going on forever. 11. I can't even. Jesus, there's not many other franchises that's gone on to 11 games.
Right. So here we are at the 11th version of the game, and it was a fantastic reveal. But he's a showman. I mean, he really played it up, and then afterwards he's like, they played the wrong clip up there. Yeah. So that was great, and it felt good because he got me. He really did get me because I was like, why is Ed Boon? I mean, I knew who he was. I was like, why is he up here for a racing title? Sit there and brought him up for
We're
fighting.
all scratching our head, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, boom! It was like perfect, the perfect reveal. He was like, I don't care about these, whatever. The Forza 4 won.
Wait, no one was surprised by Forza winning it, right? That's
right. So yeah. I mean, well, I also that is interesting to me. And there's a little side commentary on that whole category. It felt a little shunned. Racing games in particular are a very big genre in video games, and we've got tons of them a year. And then sports games are huge. I mean, one of the highest selling games every year is FIFA and Madden.
Yep.
And if you didn't notice, Madden was not even nominated.
Have they even produced a good Madden?
Well, I mean, yeah, they did. It sells millions. I mean, but I mean, just because it sells millions doesn't mean it's good. But FIFA 19, Forza, Horizons 4. Mario Tennis, which is interesting because it's a sports game, but not.
It's like we need to find a Nintendo game to put in.
Right, I guess so. I mean, it was good. It's fun. It's fun tennis.
I mean, it actually scored like 2 or 3 nominations. I remember
it did
2 times, and I'm like, what the heck is going on with this Mario Tennis game?
NBA 2K19, so a basketball game, and then another soccer game, Pro Evolution Soccer in 2019, which is Konami. Yeah. But again, 2 soccer games, a basketball, and a tennis game, and then 1 racing game. So like, it just. You could have made 2 categories out of that: best sports title, best racing title.
What would be your other racing games?
Well, I mean,
there hasn't been one in like 3
but there was a few. There was a couple of rally games. Again, I get it. Forza probably would have won it anyway. But come on, put yourself in the same category at this point. Then
next year, Crash Bandicoot Racing.
Right. But again, now think about it this way. So, what won best sports game? Are we really going to call Forza Horizons a sports game? Because it's an arcade style racer. Like you're literally like running through like fields and stuff. There's not even like rule regulations, no simulation. So
yeah, you're right.
It's not so you literally blew away. So there was no best sports title this year.
Yeah, well, there was a best sports / racing. It's like comedy / drama.
Right, but then you give it to
comedy and drama.
So you give it to a comedy, and then it's just like, so what was the best? So what's the best drama?
Best drama, Parks and Recreation. There you go.
Right.
No, I'm with you. You're right. There was a few categories that were a little odd that way, with some games crammed into the same place. I remember best role playing game, and I think Monster Hunter won.
I mean, look, I get esports is big, esports is huge, but we had let me tell you, we had best esports moment, best esports host, best esports event, best esports coach, best esports team, best esports player, best esports game. So we had 7.
My question is, were any of those 7 categories gamers that played Forza? Because you've got the sports category. With
no, they all play Fortnite. They all play Fortnite.
They play Fortnite. That's the best esports game, is what should have been.
Right. That should. I mean, again, best esports game was given to Overwatch, which is, again, Overwatch got it because Overwatch threw the biggest money at it all. Let's be honest here. Overwatch and the Overwatch League this year blew everything away.
That's true.
They redefined the way esports.
Like they're planning for year 2, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've got teams on cities. They had trades. They followed they took the NBA and the NFL playbook and threw it at esports, and it worked. They were trading players. Yeah. I mean, you have jersey.
I wonder what happened when and if Overwatch starts to decline in popularity. How would they move?
Well, I think we already hit that point. I didn't want to believe it, but Fortnite really took a lot of the thunder from Overwatch. And it's not that their 2 games are similar. You've got one that's a battle royale, complete chaos, skins, and then you've got another one that's like specific class. It's a class-based game, but yet the player base that's playing it right now are the ones that are playing it. There's nobody going, I'm new to gaming. Let me jump on Overwatch. Right now, everyone's going, oh, what are my friends playing? Because I'm going to try a new game. I'm going to go play Fortnite right now.
Low barrier entry. It's free, really easy to play. Yeah.
Right. You still have to purchase, even though Overwatch has been dropped in price multiple times over the holiday. I think it was like $20 over the holiday. Again, there's just, I mean, it's free. You only buy it. There's no expansion. There's no DLC.
No. It's like all Blizzard games, right?
Yeah. So
speaking of Epic, right, and Fortnite's dominance in the industry, what about that PC game store, right? What about Epic's move there?
So this was interesting. This is an interesting story all around, just because Epic right now holds that massive amount of player base right now with Fortnite. They did something that, I mean, is just brilliant. They decided to go, hey, everyone's already opening up our client every time they want to play Fortnite on PC, and they all have Fortnite. They all have Epic logins. So
even I do.
Yeah. So why don't we start selling games here? And they decided to go, hey, let's go out and publish a bunch of indie games. So they went out and opened up their wallets and were like, hey, we'll be your publisher. We'll be the store. We'll do all the
get some exclusive titles on their store.
Titles. Yeah. And that's what they did. And so they came out strong. Like, they had announced it a couple days before the Game Awards, but they threw money at the Game Awards and made sure that every commercial talked about the Epic Store. And they announced exclusive games, directly launching on the Epic Store, and they're going to be giving away free games. So that's like the new way to kind of get you into your
the new model, like one a month or two
a month or whatever. So right now there's 2 games out. You can think one of them is Super Meat Boy, which, I mean, you might have already have, but here you got a free copy of it, and then a couple other games. I think it's 1 or 2 more free games. Plus, they announced.
It reminds me, I actually have to log into it so I can get my free games ahead of.
Right, and then Hades, a fantastic
roguelike
game that was announced at the Game Awards. They were like, here's this awesome trailer. I mean, I looked at it, I was like, ooh, I want to play it. And not only did they just blow me away with that fun trailer, they were like, by the way, play it now. Get it right now, right after
Stop watching this Game Awards and play our games.
Play our game. So it's competition.
What do you think? It's nice that Steam might have some competition, right? Which is always
great.
Look,
let's talk about how many stores we have out here right now. We've got the Epic Games Store. We've got Discord now sells games. The Discord has a store, and you get free games on there right now as well. You've got the Microsoft Store, which, again, if you've got a Windows machine, you have the Microsoft Store.
Games there too. Yep.
You have Steam, so that's 4. And then now we're going to talk about the specific ones. Like Bethesda has one. Bethesda Store has one. Ubisoft has one. So that's how you
never think of logging into Ubisoft to buy one of their games. Why wouldn't I just buy it from Steam?
Because you can't. For example, The Division you play it. Like if I want to play the PC version, you're logging into their servers, so you have to log in with their app. So yes, the Ubisoft store has their own store as well. EA has one too. So Battlefront 1 and 2, and all the Need for Speeds, and even the Maddens and the FIFAs, the PC versions, are all done through their EA. Yeah,
interesting.
So there are multiple.
If I want a game, I got to log into like 75 different stores that are owned by the publishers. So
and we're not even talking about Blizzard.
Yeah, we're not even talking about Blizzard.
Yeah, Blizzard has Activision. So Destiny, for example, is an Activision game that's owned by Blizzard as well. So to play Destiny 2 online for PC, you have to fire up a Battle.net.
Jesus.
So yeah, I mean, there's lots of stores out there. It's definitely not the only. They're not the only people in town anymore, and I think Steam should realize that now. Their model has always been like we're the only store in town.
Wait for our sales.
We control the market. So now what's happening, which is really nice, is you'll have a game come out. It'll come out for one store, and it'll come out on Steam. That one store will drop the price on it. It'll get a day or two of sales because, hey, here it is, 20, 30%.
Everyone's jumping over there.
They'll jump over there and buy it. Then Steam goes, oh, crap, the game is 20% cheaper over there. Let's drop it over here. Then they drop it, and then they'll give an incentive. So there's now a war going on.
It's great. Great for the consumer.
Look, with services like Discord, where everyone just hops into Discord chat and they put on their mic and their headphones and they chat there. There's no need, like Steam isn't as exclusive anymore.
It's true.
They're now
their achievements aren't very interesting.
Right? There used to be with the Steam sales, they used to have like little mini games and art, like the reality games, the little fun games where you unlock points and achievements and you'd get
all gone.
Who all got, like, they don't do that much anymore, like, because I think they got confident. The last one was like 3 years ago, and they had like this fun little like clicking game, and it was like a Santa thing. Like, I remember it being like a holiday game, and you kept playing it and you would unlock stuff. That felt fun, and it gave you like coupon codes.
Yeah.
Now they're not doing much anymore because they felt like they were the only ones in town anyway, so why bother?
Why bother? And you know, you occasionally get hit with the Steam sale and you go buy a bunch of stuff and you never play them. So they have the data, right? They know exactly what you're playing and how you spend them and how to get you to spend your money. So
I mean, Humble Bundle now has the Humble Bundle monthly. So you pay $12 a month or $10 a month, and they give you like 8 games, and they're like really nice ones.
I mean, like even for $12, I would never finish 8 games. They got to be like, I'm such a like one game for like 3 months.
I get it. No, I wish I had the focus for that, but
in fact, I was playing Civilization 6 right before you called. It interrupted my game and crashed the game on my desktop. I was like, no.
So what we need to do is you need a second PC now.
Second PC
just for Civ.
It'll be a beast. It'll be like a monster computer taking up half the house just so I could play Civ. I can't make the maps too big on this PC. My poor computer, I can hear it straining under the nitro. Yeah, no, it gets really loud when I'm playing the bigger maps. So
wow.
Yeah.
And that machine is pretty beefy. If I remember correctly, it's got like an i7, and it's
yeah. I haven't played around with the graphics, right? Because again, I was a PC gamer who found consoles to be a much easier hobby experience, and I'm trying to avoid getting back into the PC gamer hobby right now that I'm playing Civ 6. I'm just like, oh god, I don't want to have to think about lowering graphics and tweaking like
no, and we don't have too much anymore now.
I know. An
example would be and again, this is going to sound very noobish. Other PC gamers listening to this are going to be like, why would you do that? But they've made it easier with things like the NVIDIA Experience app, the one where the drivers are loaded. It'll scan your machine when new games get installed, and it automatically puts the best settings for your video card by committee. So it automatically goes, oh, you got this game. Here, let's put the best settings that your machine can seem to handle. And that's it. And it makes
you get a message that's like, dude, I can't help you. Upgrade your shit. Like it's garbage.
Right.
Give you a little message. Why did you install this?
Why did you install this? Get out.
Be sad. Get out.
It uninstalls. The only button there is uninstall.
That would be amazing. So
it's like, I'm ready to play this game. Uninstall. Oh.
You're not ready to play this game. Here's a link to a new computer.
So yeah, more power to Epic. I've already got a couple games. I already pre-ordered. I already bought Hades. I bought it. It was $20, and I was like, you know what? They sold me. They advertising worked on me, and whatever.
Dude, so, I hope you enjoy your 8 minutes playing that game because that's how much time you got to play.
That's much time I got to play.
That's good stuff.
More gaming news. Just real quick, another one. Doom.
Yes.
Is celebrating its 25th anniversary.
So here's a strange thing, right? Like, I feel like we started our show at a very fortuitous time in gamer history. Like everything that we grew up with is now celebrating its 30 year, its 25 year.
Right.
Like we're right at that cusp of like hearing.
As I stroke my white my beard here, yes. The days. 20 year anniversary of the Dream.
And dude, I mean, I remember that. I mean, that game came out 25 years ago, and it blew minds, right? We all were like, what the hell? The speed at which you had to move around, the face of the guy getting more and more hurt.
Here's an example of it. I lent my copy of Doom 1 on floppy to a friend of mine, and when he gave it back to me, it had a virus on the disc.
Son of a bee. What? You're like, bro.
He infected me. It wasn't his fault. He actually got like a virus from another game, someone that installed. And so it was back in the day. Like,
so for anyone who's listening who's young, a floppy was the actual hard thing that you see. That that save icon.
The save icon.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that used to be a real physical object upon which you would save things on and put it into your computers like some sort of caveman, right? You'd shove it there and it would click.
Yeah. But Doom 1 was fantastic, and it was, I think, 4, and then Doom 2. When I bought Doom 2 Hell on Earth, it was like 6 to 8 floppies, and I remember like...
Oh, my God, and you'd install and it'd be like, put in disc 2, and you'd pop it out, push a button, pop. Oh, my God.
Seeing that little red light hit, and then you're hoping that disc didn't go corrupted in some way, shape, or form. I'm like, no! Yeah.
That's amazing. Amazing. But congrats to Doom. 25
years. But the best part about this story isn't just that it's 25 years, because that's fantastic, because next year we're going to get Doom Eternal, if you're not familiar, the sequel to the amazing 2016 Doom, which was, again, phenomenal for a single-player revamp reboot of a game. John Romero, the original creator, the flowing locks, beautiful Ferrari driving 40-inch CRT. If you don't know that story, look it up. He codes on an epic CRT that every CRT nerd, tube TV nerd, drools about. That story gets shared all the time. Like, look at John Romero's CRT. It's like, it was like a one-off he was known for buying a Ferrari back in the day. I mean, he was like one of us driving a Ferrari. It's like, how did this guy do it? He's a nerd, but yet he drives a Ferrari.
id Software dominated the scene.
id Software, id, ID, however you want to call it. I called it id. id Software was the original gaming rock star, developer rock star. It was when you pulled out your copy of PC Gamer magazine, on the cover.
Boom, right there.
Carmack and John Romero, the two creators of Doom, and they were rock gods to us. They were like, here they're nerds, coders, but long hair and dating models. So
and everyone I know is playing Doom. Everyone who I know who's playing a game is playing their games.
It's playing Doom. Yeah, exactly. There was no other game. It was the Fortnite.
No, we're all trading virus-infected floppies.
Yeah. Well, here, this rock star who, by the way, I wouldn't call him a one-hit wonder. He definitely tried to come back many years ago. If any of you guys remember Daikatana.
I do remember. That's a famous Penny Arcade comic.
Right. The Daikatana in general is just, the infamous game that is Daikatana. But John Romero never really hit it off again. He never came out with another game that was just that amazing. But what was famous about John Romero and Carmack was their engine creation. They created the Doom engine. And then the Doom 2 engine, or the Doom.
It was like the Wolfenstein engine that they built the Doom engine on top of.
Right. And then it just grew. And then the big one, the big cash cow for them was the Quake engine.
Oh, yes.
Quake 2, Quake 3, those engines were all their babies. And one of the best things about them is they were open source. They were known for, after a couple years, they would release the source and give the source code to the community and go, here's our engine.
Go nuts.
Make games with it. And I mean, think about it. as a gamer, if you were a PC gamer in the late 90s, early 2000s, there wasn't a game that didn't run on the Quake Engine or Doom.
Yeah, it's true.
Call of Duty, Half-Life, all started on Quake and Doom engines. Like the Call of Duty 1 and 2 ran off of the Quake 3 engine. Half-Life was a modified version of the Quake 2 engine. So now, of course, it's got its own engine, but it would have never happened for as guys like John.
Wait, it's got its own engine for Half-Life 3, which would
Half-Life 2 was the Source engine, right? And that became Counter-Strike Source. But Team Fortress. Yep. Team Fortress, the original Team Fortress, was a mod created by the community for Quake 2.
It's ridiculous.
So here again,
all starting with Doom 25. All starting with Doom.
So John Romero came out of the woodwork, like literally, like the shed, just like out of nowhere, just like, guys, I've got 9 new levels,
all in hell,
a whole new episode for Doom, and it's like
it's crazy.
Created by the original creator. Original levels. I mean, you might think
great
people maybe 10 years younger than me are like, cool story, bro. But for me, that's amazing. Like,
exciting.
Here's this guy who it's like bringing back any director back into the chair and putting him behind like a sequel.
Yeah, like for the kids, it'd be like J.K. Rowling coming back and writing one more book in the Harry Potter universe. Like,
right, that's it. That's the best way. That's the perfect analogy right there. It is exactly that. It is exactly that.
It's one more episode in the Doom universe, which is exciting, and the levels all take place in hell. And when John, you can read interviews of John online talking about it, and he's excited about certain rooms.
Right.
Like, oh, this room I put together is just perfect. You guys are gonna love it. I'm like, what? All right, I'm gonna love it.
Yeah, and what's great about this is there are also multiplayer levels.
There are
multiplayer.
It's a very exciting 25th anniversary announcement.
It'll be free.
Levels. And it's free. Yes.
All free. So they'll be launching in February.
Who's going to pay for an episode of Doom? I know.
It's a WAD file. It's a .wad. Also, by the way, if you didn't know, expansion files for or level packs for Doom are called WAD files.
Yeah.
And there's no pun. I mean, the pun is as transparent as it is. It's all about like shooting your wad. Like that was the whole purpose of it.
Yes.
They were called that for a reason.
And you had to do it. You had to bring it up in this show. Good job.
Of course I did.
Okay. Keeping it blue.
Absolutely. So John Romero's back, everybody, with original levels for Doom.
Very exciting. Very exciting. So I guess speaking of nostalgic things, do we want to talk about that Sonic trailer? Do we?
Yes, we do. So it's about 5 seconds. So okay, here's. I'm a big Sonic fan.
I know.
I've got friends that are even bigger Sonic fans. I've got Sonic merchandise and memorabilia and stuff all over the place, here and there. My kiddo is huge into Sonic right now. His Christmas list is all Sonic plushies.
Wow.
He's requested Shadow the Hedgehog. He wants all supporting cast. Amy the Hedgehog, Tails. He wants that's what he wants. That's his Christmas list is. And what's side story to this is he is requesting all these plushies that either don't exist or are out of print. So
good luck.
He's looking for like an Amy the Hedgehog, and they only made it for like a specific series, and it's like $20.
He's already looking for like super secret.
But it's not his fault. He plays the games, and he's like, and in my head, I'm like, why isn't there a plushie for this? Like, there's a plushie for everything else. Then you look on eBay, and it's like, oh, here's $900 for a Shadow the Hedgehog plushie. I'm like,
because there's a lot of crazy Sonic fans out there.
Right. Fun tip, everybody. Type in your first name and put in the Hedgehog in Google, and you will get a fan creation of your name.
Interesting. I'm kind of afraid to. Should I turn on safe search?
Go for it. Put in Pedro the Hedgehog, and you'll find it. Do it. Really? Do it right now, right on camera. I want to see.
All right.
While you're doing that, but anywho, while he's doing that, the trailer for the live action Sonic the Hedgehog movie just hit. Now it's a teaser. It's not even a trailer. We don't even get to see Sonic except a silhouette. But
so wait, is this supposed to be like a? I feel like I'm
right. Okay,
I feel like I've fallen into the deep web of Hedgehog.
Okay, so Hedgehogs has a huge, and again, there is a reason why the greatest esport player of the year, Sonic Fox, is a furry and is not Sonic Fox. The Sonic community has embraced Sonic the Hedgehog as a kind of a mascot slash like persona of like he kind of identifies as the furry. Like the furries have adopted it. It's kind of like being gay, and then there people were like Dorothy. They all jumped on.
I get it. And that's Sonic.
Sonic just, and it's not like Sonic did it, but I mean they just hopped onto it. So Sonic the Hedgehog. They all write a lot of fan fiction, a lot of like their own stories. They make their own persona. It's kind of their entry level persona. So they were like into Sonic. So they were like, "Oh, my name is Joe the Hedgehog," or Joe the Echidna, or whatever. And they would draw their own. And so if you go on DeviantArt, there's thousands of pictures. It is a fandom that is cute and then gets into the very
I closed it before I scrolled down.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. So if
I like to live dangerously.
You like to did you go to page 2? Never go to page 2.
Never go to page 2.
But yes, so that's what's interesting about this, because we know who the fans are. There's a lot of good Sonic fans, a lot of great Sonic fans, and then there's some interesting Sonic
quirky
fans.
Sonic fans. That's
quirky Sonic fans. So let's talk about who's directing this Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Masterpiece. Let's call it a masterpiece.
So the masterpiece that is this trailer or teaser shows Sonic running as a blue blur, and I was like, oh, here we go, Sonic. And then they show him stop. And it literally looks like a track runner with blue fur and a Sonic head. Like, it's so weirdly proportioned. The calves are a little too muscular. Arms are a little too muscular. It's awkward looking. You don't get to see his face. The interview with the director says they wanted to give him fur because if he didn't have the fur, he would look naked.
Oh, all right. Good. Great. Yeah.
The director is Tim Miller.
Who's Tim Miller?
The director of Deadpool 1.
What? All right. Well, I mean, maybe it'd be Sonic the Hedgehog voiced by Ryan Reynolds.
No. He's already Pikachu, goddammit. He cannot be two furries. He can't do that. Limit on furries.
Wouldn't that be great if he just, from now on, he just voiced everything?
Everything. We just have everything.
Voiced by Ryan Reynolds.
Voiced by Ryan Reynolds.
Deadpool.
I don't know how to feel. I don't want to. You know me, man. I'm positive to the bitter end.
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog is something that maybe they should have just gone CG. I mean, for God's sakes, he's in Wreck-It Ralph. He's in Wreck-It Ralph 2. He has speaking roles in Wreck-It Ralph 2.
I don't know.
Just give him the Pixar movie he deserves. Why go live action?
Who is this film for?
You know who it's for. You just did a search on it.
You're going to disappoint me, who played Sonic and enjoyed it as a video game, but didn't really dive into any sort of literature, let's say.
Right.
Sonic. And you're going to disappoint all the folks who are, literature fans, right? So I keep saying literature, and I can.
Well, no, you're right. Okay, so here's another fun fact: is Sonic the Hedgehog is big in video games, but he also had a ginormous, super long, 10+ year comic run.
Yeah, he had comics, cartoons.
Archie Comics had the rights to Sonic the Hedgehog and has a ginormous art. As a matter of fact, most of the Sonic mythos is from that comic. So, like. Yeah. Here, you've got all these people that are. I don't get it.
I don't get it. What I do love, though, is the community.
Oh boy!
So wait. I mean, there's of course the crazies and the bad people and the evil people and the 4chaners, but there's like this solid core group of people who are posting on these trailer videos or on the comments on articles, and essentially they're just like, this could be good, this could be bad. I'm here for the memes, like the joy, like the whole everyone. We can all hold hands on the glorious Sonic the Hedgehog memes that are going to be coming our way for the next few months.
Have you ever followed Sonic the Hedgehog on Twitter?
No. Should I?
Yes. Sonic is a super troll.
Oh, okay, great.
Everybody, like Sonic, the person the media group, whoever is in charge of the Twitter handle for Sonic is fantastic. He burns everybody, trolls everybody. They'll release a new game, and he'll he's kind of like.
Did he burn his own movie?
That's what I'm wondering. I haven't looked today, but maybe he's keeping it hush. They're like, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't burn it. Don't be the person that burns your own brand. They're already doing it for you. But
they're going to do it for you. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to the internet community all coming together and sending Sonic the Hedgehog to the burn unit, right? Like I can't
Oh my
wait.
God,
I can't wait for them to be delivered.
I don't know.
And yeah, no, I haven't seen a video game movie that has so underwhelmed and also excited me since like I don't know, Resident Evil. I would say like I can't wait. I can't wait to see the ludicrousness.
I don't know what this is. Like I don't understand. I was so baffled. My sister shared it on Facebook early this morning, and I was at work, and I was like, I was drinking my coffee, and all of a sudden they're like, live action Sonic the Hedgehog teaser is out. And I was like, like my face was literally that. It was like,
this is the worst timeline. That's truly a sign.
It totally was. Like I don't. But what makes it worse, man? What hurts the most is if you go read the article, the interview. They're literally like saying everything the opposite. They're like, yeah, we decided to go live action, and we've got like this boy like that's gonna be like the lead and whatever, and he's gonna be in it, and we decided to go with fur because he would look naked, and I'm like, what? Like, you just released, like, Wreck-It Ralph just came out. Like, just came out last month. And Sonic is literally in that movie, like, 10 minutes.
Is Tails going to be in it?
Because apparently.
Live action, like.
Ooh, I'm calling it now. What if the little boy in the movie, the protagonist boy, little human associate, is Tails?
It's going to be, I mean, like the feds are going to come bursting into movie theaters to shut it down. I can't. The memes are going to be, I'm crying just thinking about how beautiful the internet's going to be for this release. And also, like, I mean, you can get good video game movies, and then you can get Sonic the Hedgehog, and I think Sonic the Hedgehog is it's going to take the bullet for all. I mean,
have we not learned anything? Like, we have years and years of of cautionary tales. We've got giant little micro-headed Goombas. Like, we've got a Double Dragon. We've got Mortal Kombat 2. We've got all of these movies that have told us video game movies. Let's just go the CG route. And then, not only that, is you've got Sonic the Hedgehog with multiple series and cartoons, and then you put him in a movie that already just came out.
Just pretend you're a producer with buckets of money. You're like, Fred, you know what's hot right now? Video games. And Fred's like, oh, yeah, video games are hot. You know what else is hot? Live action. Disney live action movies is real hot right now. And they just take the two.
They're like, and now kiss. You know, like, it makes no sense.
Did you go from there?
I don't know. I don't understand. They're just like, they literally just took a pile of money and just burned it. You could have just gotten that. Like, I don't get it either.
Sonic is going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be the laughs we need in 2019.
Oh, jeez.
We'll stop talking about Fortnite. We're just going to make fun of Sonic the Hedgehog.
You know what? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a calendar and put like how many days till. So that's what we're gonna do, guys. From here on out, we're gonna every bit of news for this movie, we will report it. Come here, we will talk about it because we are gonna follow this movie. We are gonna be on set. They're gonna invite us because we put out so many videos on this.
We're gonna have to make a bet. One of us is gonna have to wear that Sonic the Hedgehog fur costume.
Oh my God! I don't. One of my kids' requests was he wanted a Sonic hoodie, and I found a Sonic the Hedgehog big it's like a hat with like spikes that comes back. So yeah,
good. Let's get the adult size. Let's go.
Oh, it fits me. I tried it on. Of course, I did.
So yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see the news. It's gonna be, or you know what? It might exceed all expectations and be amazing.
Might be amazing.
Which would be a grand delivery. Either we're gonna die laughing, or we're going to be thoroughly entertained by this.
Since we're talking about movies real quick, just because, and I know we didn't put it on the agenda, we're gonna hop over to tabletop in a second, right after this. But I think we need to talk about one other thing, and that is
one other thing. Oh, the Avengers trailer? Okay, yeah, all right. Cooking mittens. It looked fun. I'm excited for it. It didn't really relay much information. It looked very Captain America centric, which I'm excited for.
So we got 2 trailers. Like Marvel was like, let's put the Captain Marvel trailer.
I know folks were really sad that it wasn't at the Game Awards, for example. I saw a lot of posts being like, why didn't they do it at this Game Awards?
They released it the next morning. Like the next morning, I was on my way to work, and like at 7 o'clock in the morning, I got the notification at a stoplight. They were like, new trailer, new Marvel and Avengers Endgame trailer came out, which is interesting to me because they had the Russo brothers, again, back to that, make full circle to this conversation, is giant award show, breaking all sorts of records. The 2 directors of the biggest movie of the year last year, or this year, I guess, right?
They gave out an award at the biggest.
They gave out an award. The Russo brothers
gave out Game of the Year.
The one before.
No, that was the Game of the Year when it was last year, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they gave it out. They gave out the one before, which was like best ongoing game. I think they gave out the Fortnite one or game direction. Right. I don't know, but either way, here we got the Russo brothers. They should have announced that trailer. That should have been the big reveal, and they didn't. I don't know why.
It was weird. I thought they'd show that trailer at the show.
Again, not much to talk about on it. There's not much to reveal, but I mean, fantastic. If you've seen the first one, Infinity War, I mean, it looks great, and we've got some fun stuff being poked at it. There, we've got a couple of characters that looks like the movie might follow a smaller group for the movie, kind of like a ragtag group
as they start to rebuild.
As they rebuild, and it's going to be fun. I think. It's going to be interesting. But again, the trailer that they released the day before or 2 days before was Captain Marvel, which comes out in March. So we're going to get March Captain Marvel.
I'm not going to lie. I'm super excited about that film. Captain Marvel was one of my favorite characters, both the male, and I've recently been buying a lot of the Carol Danvers Captain Marvel.
Yeah, good stuff.
They're fantastic. I love reading them with my daughter. She yesterday we just finished one of the volumes, and she's like, how come there isn't a movie for Captain Marvel? And I'm like, well, I got news for you, kiddo. It comes out in a couple months. What a time to be alive, right?
Right. God, that's what I'm talking about, man.
Representation matters. I know
it does.
Blah blah blah. But my daughter is into these things, and I think she would be. She's a girly girl. I don't want to say despite my best efforts, she just sort of is now a girly girl, and she wants to do girly things, and she wants to see girls. And whenever I bring her a comic book with a woman in it, she loves it. I mean, she's totally down. And this is Captain Marvel's complicated plots, since it's in space. It's very science fiction. Right. But Carol Danvers is a badass Captain
Yes, she
Marvel.
is.
She is former military, Air Force pilot, wreck shop. She destroys ships like crazy. I can't wait to see the film. I cannot wait.
One of the things that I liked about the movie or the trailer, if you noticed, they showed her in all 3 revisions of her costume, or at least not the black one with the yellow lightning bolt. That was in with the bandana, but they had her in the greenish bluish Captain Marvel costume.
The old Kree costume.
The Kree military costume, and then they had her in the final one, which is the blue and red, but it was also with the full mohawk. The flaming mohawk.
Good. Yeah,
so good. So good, but they also showed her without it, and her powered up with the yellow hair, flying
amazing.
So
I can't wait.
So good.
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see her in that, and then see her in Avengers Endgame, because if she's not in Avengers Endgame,
right. I mean,
she's got to be.
She's got to be. Yeah. So it's an interesting take. I'm interested in seeing how they're going to take this movie, because it is set in the 90s. I mean, we've got a younger Samuel L. Jackson, and
he's ageless.
Ageless. But he's going to be a rookie or a rookie-esque person, and younger in his career. So I'm excited. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm thrilled for.
I haven't watched any of it. I am interested in something that I haven't read, and maybe if you do some research, maybe you could put up what happened. Marvel got the rights to do Skrull.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
How did they lose the rights to do Skrull?
So back in the olden days, kiddos, when Marvel had no movie studio before Disney, shocking, there was no Marvel movies.
Sure.
But Marvel just kind of sold the rights to a lot of its movies, aka why you have certain movies with Fox.
Was Skrull part of Fantastic Four universe?
Right. So during the Fantastic Four universe, the purchase of the Fantastic Four grouping was the Skrull, Doctor Doom, Namor. Which is why we don't see Namor, the Submariner, on there, even though he has been an Avenger. As a matter of fact, he was an Avenger villain, and then he became...
he was like one of the second-tier Avengers, right? He was
right. I mean,
little West Coast Avengers or whatever it is.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, that's why. So the Skrull, which is why we didn't see the Skrull in the first Avengers movie. It was the Chitauri as opposed to the Skrull. And, like, everyone was like, why are you not choosing the Skrull, like the most popular, like, Avenger
Alien Invaders?
Alien Invaders, but it was because they didn't have the rights then. So somewhere along that movie to now, they have
finagled them back.
Finagled the Skrull back. So,
I assume they just backed up to the studio with trucks of cash. We'll just lease it from you. And they're like, oh yeah, that Venom didn't do so well, so here, take it.
No, Venom did better than all the other Marvel movies.
Why? I could barely.
Yeah. Why? Let's look that up real quick, just because Venom box office numbers.
International.
So here it is. This is on October 7th story. Venom breaks records. And just recently it was like Venom made more. A new franchise is born. Was it? There's a total box office numbers. Let me find that real quick.
Wow.
It made 212 million as of it's one of the biggest ones for worldwide. $851 million.
Okay, all right. So yeah, worldwide it crushed it.
Foreign market alone, it made $638 million.
I wonder why it was so popular overseas.
People liked it, like kind of like the Iron Man movies are big in like China because they made them there, but at the same time they like the whole mecha, like the guys.
Yeah, all right, that makes sense. I dig it. I can dig it.
Same reason why the DC movies do so well over there. Like everyone likes the Marvel, the DC. Like they're not. I wouldn't say haters. That's not the right term, but they're not.
They don't have the baggage.
Yeah, they don't have the baggage. That's the right term. Like they're not like invested in the whole.
They're like you. They're there for the.
They're there for the popcorn.
There for the spectacle. Yeah,
there they go. And if you look up the numbers for like Man of Steel or Batman vs Superman or whatever, it made like 500. Crushed it overseas, and here we're just like, we don't like that. It's not good enough. You know, they turn their nose.
Well, it wasn't good enough.
Right. But I mean,
Wonder Woman was, and
yeah.
I like Justice League. Controversial, like the Justice League, and not.
I like Justice League, so
I love Justice League. Yes. So cool, awesome. So I got a couple more minutes left, right?
So let's talk about tabletop.
My timer failed. I don't know what timer we're at, but
it's 9:51 our time, my time, so it's 10:51 your time. So we started a little late, but that's okay.
All right, cool.
Let's kick it off with some tabletop. Let's talk about it because I haven't played. I didn't play last week.
So we played a Dungeons and Dragons game last night, 4 players. We had one of the things I try to do is just to allow me to prepare is the session before, which was about 2.5 weeks ago. I was like, what are you guys going to do next? You know, I don't know where you're going because we have sort of this open world play style, but I need to know where they're planning on going. So they wanted to pull a heist, right? I had stolen an artifact from them and they wanted that artifact back. So I established a big fortress nearby and they knew that the artifact was there and they were going after it. So we opened the session with us me being like, oh, how are you gonna pull off this heist? What are you gonna do to get intel? You know where it is. It's in the Iron Keep. How are you going to get it out? What are you going to do? So each of them sort of came up with their own individual plan, which was fun, right? So like the wizard was going to use her familiar and some other spells. She wanted to talk to the animals nearby to see if there was any secret entrances. The bard was going to scout because he's real good at stealth. And each of them sort of came.
Whoa! Back up here.
Yeah.
The bard is good at stealth.
Yes, so the bard has a invisibility spell and has sort of piled skill points into stealth and persuasion and sort of sneaking and disguising.
I
So,
don't
yeah.
I don't understand this. I see a bard run in and just like play the lute like
Think of this bard as more and it's our friend Jordan's bard, so of course it's over the top ridiculous. More of a
what accent does he use?
More of a con artist, a southern accent, which oh god. So which is it's hilarious because he's actually from the northern part of Forgotten Realms, so it makes no sense. So anyway, he's more of a con artist sort of bard that can sing, right? So whatever. 8 rolls, right? So they sort of had this plan, 8 rolls, and they rolled 3 1s. I think the other rolls, like 2 of them were not didn't even hit 10, even with their bonuses. So I'm sitting there just watching them fail every single roll as they're trying to get intel to pull this heist off, and I'm giving them just like here's like I mean, literally I was like, oh yeah, your bat sees the keep, so I drew a box, right? Because they rolled a 1, like it's a square castle. Like there wasn't much information I could give them. I'm like, oh, it notices some torchlights here and there, trying to give them hints of guard patrols and things like that. So eventually they managed to salvage something out of it. They used one of their inspiration cards to add some lore into the game where there was a sewer thing in there. And again, they just in typical fashion, the bard went scouting ahead, got stuck in a situation, got captured. They hadn't set off the alarm yet, so they had to do something dramatic to sort of get Mixon back before the alarm went off. And it was crazy because they just failed so many rolls. Like last night was just the players are just going to be like, how could we roll so many ones? It's statistically impossible. And it was fun. One of the moments that I'm having fun with is one of my characters is holding. I mentioned this sort of book of power.
The book, yeah.
It has its own personality, and it's kind of I should say very. It's got a mission, and it wants her to follow this mission, and it doesn't care about her friends, right? While her character is a very caring character who's relatively doesn't want to hurt her friends, is trying to be part of the team. So I've got this sort of anti her. And she's playing this to the hilt, right? So I'm like, she's like, oh, I don't know what spell to cast. Should I cast Ray of Frost? And suddenly I'm like, well, the Book of Power is making you move. Like suddenly your arms start to move and you can feel yourself casting a different spell. And she's like, and I'm like, do you want to resist? Because we can roll it out to see if you resist the book. And she's like, you know what? I'm not going to resist. I feel like my character would be so confused by suddenly this other entity pushing through. She wants to see what this spell is. Like she's interested in the power of it. And I'm like, oh, she's interested in the power of it, right? So like all of a sudden,
power.
Exactly. So like she's really playing along with it. And then I'm dropping clues to the other players. Like she cast this spell, and immediately the other arcane caster in the group notices, right, where he notices that she's casting spells differently because every wizard has their own trademark
style, right?
Yeah, has their own trademark styles in our world, and she's using someone else's style. So they're starting to put together these clues to figure out that she's got this personality sort of running the show for her, which is creating sort of exciting tension at the table. It's good stuff. And they managed to kill all the guards, and they didn't set off the alarm. Once we got into combat, they pretty much dominated my low-level creatures. So it's good. Heists are interesting in that like I can try to account for everything they might do.
Except that.
Or bad rolls, or they'll think of a completely different plan. So usually what I do is I'm one of the things I took from a DM online, I develop a toolkit, right? So I say, okay, there's going to be guards, there's a couple guard patrols, and here's like a random encounter or two that they might come across. And then I'll just, depending on how they roll, I might just drop it here or there and put it where I need it to create some drama, right? And then I'll have a few puzzles and things like that in there to make it interesting. But it works really well in that, like, if they fail, I can still make failure fun by throwing it in there, throwing a little random encounter, tweaking it up a little bit, creating some tension that way. So heists are fun, except when they roll so many terrible rolls. But I'm sad because I don't think we're going to be able to get together before the holidays, so we probably won't boot up again until January. Right? Everybody travels.
Yeah, I mean that's the toughest part. I know, and I know we're gonna have one session this Sunday coming up, and go from there. We are at a point where they are heading towards, and if you're familiar with the Mines of what is it? Mines of
Fandolin.
The Mines of Fandelver.
Fandelver. That's right.
The Mines of Fandelver. The intro campaign. Of course, my campaign has already been like chopped up, mishmashed, and changed all to get out. But there are some base quests that we're kind of following, but everything changes as we go to them.
Yeah.
And we are we're going to walk up to Old Owl Well, and they have been encountering a lot of undead in the area, a lot of ghouls.
That's awesome.
Again, I had mentioned to you this before, but I told them to investigate, and one of them realized that the ghouls had a specific symbol on their chest, like a branding, like an arcane symbol that had been like glowing as the ghoul like died. Like
I gotcha.
Kind of like went away. So
it's all like hint.
Right. So it's giving them kind of a hint of like maybe who or what or where this is, or what it could be. So I told them to take note, and we're going to kind of pick up where we left off, and they'll probably get right to the well.
Yeah.
Next session.
That's
and
awesome.
It's really up to what they choose, right? Like this, if you're familiar with that encounter, what they choose could lead them to multiple paths. They could be a battle. There could be some negotiation. There could be some, other things, meeting some bigger, badder people.
I like that one. I mean, I can't say enough good things about the Mines of Fandelver. It's if you've even thought about DMing, you should read it. It's a really well designed, directed campaign with a lot of branches that allow you to sort of open world it as much as you want. Real intriguing and good locations and NPCs. And Old Owl Well, I mean, I used the hell out of that location, right? You had the basic encounter from the book, which I tweaked a little bit, and I added something under the actual well itself.
Right. So that was one of our favorites. We went down there, and there was a lot of mechanical things. We fought a lot of like mechanical traps, old traps. Who did we? Jaha, I think it was the name.
Yeah.
We found an old god down there, an old like infernal god.
Yeah, and it became like a looming entity in one of our characters' lives because he had to pledge himself to Jaha, or thought he did not play well.
Thought he did not. Yeah, that was fun. But again, that's the kind of stuff that I'm really enjoying about this campaign, is because yes, it is a pre-written campaign. It gives itself up to so much creativity that you're able to kind of mix and match. And
everyone should buy it for people's Christmas trees, which we owe a little discussion. We should talk about it next week for sure.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week. But again, if anything, for the kids in your life, if you want to get them into this kind of stuff, I can't recommend it enough. Go to Target, and they have the Dungeons and Dragons starter set there, and it's like $13, and it comes with everything you need: dice. It comes with the books, the player sheets, the encounter, a base set of rules,
and a decent amount of art in it for the kids to flip through and ask, "What's that? What's that?" So, and maps, you really can get into it. You can really run a great show there with that.
It's the quickest way for you to jump in and play D&D without investing in the books and all of that. And again, everyone's got a tablet. Everyone's got a smartphone nowadays. Go and download the Dungeons and Dragons, the D&D Beyond application now. I'll tell you how funny it is. When Dungeons and Dragons and D&D 3.0, 3.5 came out, I remember the player handbook came with a CD. In the back. And this was their original like attempt, cutting edge technology of like creating like a player creation tool, and it was horrible. It was horrible. It didn't work half the time. It was outdated by the time you got it. We now live in a world where the internet exists, and I will say that
they laid the foundations. As much as everyone hates on 4th edition, their online character creation tool was amazing. Like it pumped out characters at any level you wanted, with treasures at any level. It was a really well designed character creation tool, and I hope they took some lessons and They did take some lessons and put it into Beyond, which is great.
I think we're gonna go ahead and make an episode sometime soon. I've written it down. I've got it set aside where we're gonna talk. It's gonna be maybe just an hour special episode of just tabletop, but we're gonna talk about not just tabletop, but minis. What our favorites are, Reaper Miniature. They're fantastic here, based out of Texas. That makes a lot of like, from all type of gameplay, from you want to do Western theme to like sci-fi.
If you collect miniatures, you should know Reaper.
Sure. By all means. They've got, their paint sets are fantastic. Again, great. Wizards of the Coast started putting out miniatures again in high fashion, and now they're high definition or they're HD miniatures and phenomenal miniatures. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't understand how they're molding.
Gorgeous detail on these.
I've never seen as much detail as the amount of detail they put in these miniatures, and they've learned. Like $4, $3, and you get 2 to 3 miniatures per box.
Yeah,
and
it's a pretty good deal, especially if you're looking for tieflings and dragonborn, which D&D owns the rights to, so they're hard to make in other companies. Those are the sets to pick up. Right.
That's right. You know, I didn't even think about that, but I was looking for a tiefling fighter.
Hard to find.
Hard to find, and while they do exist, they're more demonic in a way. Yep. But yeah, the only way I found it was through the D&D line, and the Dragonborn as well. What's interesting about the Dragonborn is in the book they're described one way, but then the miniature makes them look a different way.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed.
I feel like they're not. It's a very complicated race. I find them very
because they state that they're humanoid with like scales of like shimmering color, so almost like a hint of hue in their skin, but still very human looking. But then you go look at the miniatures, and it's a dragon. It's a dragon person.
It's a dragon person.
So
and the art shows dragon person, but the description is not as
not as dragon, or at least not as reptilian. It's more,
but not a lizard man, right? So they're distinctly different in shape and build from lizard men, right?
Right.
Lizard folk, I think, is what we are supposed to call them now. So apologies, but yeah, Dragonborn are definitely weird.
Yeah, and then we've also got a couple companies that follow us that have wonderful dice that we need to talk about, and also maybe some of the online tools that we use. Roll20, people like to use that, that kind of stuff. We've got
and great indies out there. Heroic maps, those maps that those folks draw, I use them. I pay for their Patreon, so I get access to their.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to talk about a lot of those because there's a lot of services. Like, for example, that's one that you've mentioned once or twice before in our conversations that we've never really talked about here on the show, and maybe we need to do that. Talk about them. See, what the service.
We'll start January off right around episode 15 or so. We'll do a little every 5th episode. We'll do a little tabletop focus.
Yeah, we'll definitely do a special tabletop, either a whole episode of this or maybe a supplemental episode, a 1 hour maybe on a Friday or something that gets uploaded on a Friday.
And if you want it sooner and more often, let us know. Tweet us.
Yeah, let us know. Let's by all means. I think I think more people want to hear our tabletop, and I know we tend to put it at the end of the show just because that's kind of it coincides with the way we work. It's the end of our week. Mine's on a Sunday. Yours is on a Sunday, so we kind of wrap up the entire week, and then on Sunday we have tabletop, and then today's Monday, and that's when we film. But yes, next week we're getting closer to the holidays. We'll probably be talking more holiday-esque stuff.
We'll have my Christmas shopping done by the 17th, I hope. So.
Again, guys, please hit that like button. We're almost to 100 followers on Facebook. I know that seems low, but we've got 100 followers, and if you guys want to, I can't force you, but please invite your friends, and we can get a big branch out.
Chat with us, talk with us.
Right? Chat with us, like, subscribe on the YouTubes. I will be doing a lot more streaming. I fired up the Twitch stream yesterday, kind of getting my bearings on it. If you haven't noticed, in the background, I've had Super Smash Brothers Ultimate kind of all night.
And once Joe gets situated, probably I'll be streaming on that channel as well, so we get a nice Mid-Geek Crisis channel.
Right, absolutely. And one other thing, before the end of this week, there will be a small giveaway for this little beauty right here. This little beauty right here. There will be a small review going up. I filmed some of it. I haven't had time to edit it. Work and life has come into play. But if you're not familiar with this is a fantastic adapter called the G-Bros adapter by 8-Bit Dough. 8-Bit Dough. And it's a fantastic little device.
Cool.
It is.
So Joe's going to give it away, and I don't have one, right?
Yeah. So, and here's what it is. What it looks like. It is a small little device that has 2 batteries in it. You put 2 batteries in it, and you can plug in a GameCube controller, like an old school GameCube controller, or a Wii Classic Pad in it. So basically, you could plug in one of these, the old Wii controllers.
And it turns it into a wireless controller?
It turns it into a wireless Switch controller. So you can take your
a wireless Switch controller. That's awesome.
Right. So if you're a GameCube controller, I mean, right now Nintendo has released their wired adapter for the Switch so that you can plug these in. But if you wanted to sit on the couch with these and you don't have any of the wireless ones, you can buy one of these. It's only $20.
That's awesome.
And you've got a drawer full of these, and you literally plug it in here, and that's it. You just drop this on the side. And what this does is it gives you connectivity, but it also gives you the extra buttons that needed for the Switch. So the home button and all that are right here.
Nice.
So it's a neat little adapter. It's like an intermediary.
That's awesome.
And I've tested the latency on it, and it's running fantastic. So again, there'll be a video going up on this, but I've got an extra here, and I will be giving this away to a lucky viewer.
Awesome. I love it. Get those numbers up, I guess, and also enjoy that Switch, right? So that's on my Christmas list. So hopefully Santa shows up with it, or Grandma, someone shows up with that Switch.
All right. Well, guys, thank you for watching. Again, like, subscribe. I'd like to thank again heretofore Adam, who's been helping us a lot. Again, I'm going to keep messaging him and saying thanks because I can't give him enough thanks. And
props to Adam in the back screen for sure.
10 episodes in the bag.
Counting 0, right? So this is
counting
9.
0. This is 9, so this is the 10th episode, guys. Enjoy.
This is real. We're doing it.
We're doing it.
Subscribe. We're putting out more stuff. So thanks a lot.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good week.
Mid-Geek Crisis.